Hello, welcome back to Jacob Lewis Corner. I am Jacob, and today we are talking about my top 5 worst books, and also I have 4 most disappointing books as well to go over. I normally pick 1 or 2, and I picked 4 today. That's what we're going over. We're first going to start with a little bit of a self-promo plug, which I'm the actual video. However, there's always chapter time link down below in case you want to jump around. I understand. That being said, my self-promo plug is I published 3 books this year: Gunshot Residue, P49, and Mr. St. James. Gunshot Residue is the first book in this GSR romantic suspense trilogy. Gunshot Residue follows Alex, his husband is cheating on him. He decides to go find out for himself, and he realizes that there's a bigger mystery overall going on. The tagline for it is "Your husband's secrets enough to shatter your world." The sequel, P49, came out afterwards, and its tagline is "What are you really capable of?" And then Mr. St. James just came out, and that is "How far are the bounds of love?" If that sounds interesting to you at all, links are in the bio for individually, but also you can go to my website and get them that way as well. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to start with the most disappointing list is where we're going to start, and we're going to go from 3 stars to 2 stars upwards. Cool. We have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is kind of insane to me to say it's on this list, especially because, like, everybody loves it. This is a very loved book, and I did not love it. I do have a whole video talking about with spoilery details why. I'll go into those there. This follows Brianna and Jake as they start a fake dating romance, and things start to run awry. I had some issues with the romance itself, equaling it to be a 3-star read, but also is extremely disappointing because it is in between 2 5-star reads by this author. So it did play a factor. I do love Jake though. Jake is a phenomenal character. Brianna, not my favorite. Then the next one we're going to talk about is Too Old for This by Samantha Downing. I love an author who takes a risk. I love a thriller author in particular who takes a risk, and this was a risk. This follows an older lady. Her name is, I can't remember, Lottie. And Lottie is a serial killer. And this woman comes by and says, "I want to make a documentary on you. I don't believe you're actually the killer from all those years ago." And she ends up killing her, and it's about the spiral of the events of all of that. I did not like Lottie. However, if you love Lottie, I think the book is going to really work for you. So I wouldn't say don't read it. I wouldn't say this is a non-recommendation, especially for any of these most disappointing. I think there's a lot of people out there who could find something good in them. Definitely was not. It was not my favorite. No. And then we have It's Not the End of the World by Jonathan Parks Rampage, which also makes me really sad. His debut was on my top 10 books of the year it came out, and this one did not work for me. I also gave it a 3-star read. It follows a gay couple who live in like 2070 something, 2044, and the world's kind of gone downhill. It's hit shitville, essentially, is what the answer is. When it hit shitville, the whole world kind of like imploded on itself. And so you have certain areas in the world where you can breathe and you can live beautifully, but California, which is extremely liberal, is a toxic planet. It's super toxic. Essentially, we have these 2 people, this gay couple who it has a surrogate, and they're throwing a party, and they got a water machine. They did all this stuff, make sure this party can go on. It is a gender reveal party. And we're also following the couple, the lesbian couple that is the surrogate people, and their experiences, while also there's a pink fog that is coming across California and turning everybody into rabid pack animals, essentially. They turn into like these vicious fucking creatures. It is what it is. That's the plot of the book. And it's just, there was so much going on. There was not enough time. There wasn't enough. I think it probably needed to be like 100 or maybe more pages longer. However, I don't know if I could have read a 500-page book of this. I had some other thoughts, but that's where I'll leave you. Next, we have a video. We have a book that I did do a whole video on, so if you want to know my entire thoughts and opinions on this and why it did not work for me, I'll link you over to it. And that is Kobayashi's by R.F. Kuang. However, I will have to say, still, by far, absolutely fucking gorgeous. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Kobayashi's follows 2 students as they travel to hell to resurrect their teacher for a recommendation letter. It is so much more complicated than that, but that's what it is. And half the book is you being told, oh my god, this is what hell's like. And half the book is this very undercut romance of a situation and a lot of other, like, it didn't really work for me. I understood kind of what R.F. Kuang was trying to do here, but I didn't fully understand. I will not lie. So that's where I'm at. I gave it a 2.75, by the way. It was not for me. Was not. Now we're going to jump into my top 5 worst of the year. The number 1 is definitely number 1. However, the ones below it could be interchangeable. I would say number 5 is definitely number 5, and number 1 is definitely number 1. Cool. We're going to start with number 5. Number 5 is Gone Before Goodbye by Reese Witherspoon and Harlan Coben. I picked this up because of Reese Witherspoon, and I should not have. This was her debut into fiction, and she got a co-author, a pretty famous co-author. Harlan Coben has a very long fan base, however, or big fan base. However, most of its fan base didn't really like this book either. I was really shocked when it got nominated for some awards because it's written very poorly. It's written very bad. And also the audiobook was not good. It was very bad. Reese Witherspoon, I can understand why she wanted to narrate herself. However, she is a little miscasted in this role, and I could see herself wanting to even play this in real life. And in certain ways, I feel like maybe it worked better as like a miniseries. However, the miniseries would be so dated that I don't think it works. This book is extremely dated for being in modern times. This follows a surgeon who gets blacklisted and ends up taking a job from the Russians, which goes awry. Gone Before Goodbye, for instance, I did give a 3-star. However, this is the last book on this list that I gave a 3-star. Everything past this point is not a 3-star rating. Just want to point that out. The next one I could not tell you the rating of because I could not find it. Saved my life, and that's The Girls Girls. This is an extreme horror novel based around a group of women. I'm trying to be vague because it's really graphic. Based around a group of women who attack attackers, if you understand what I mean. And they film it and they upload it onto the dark web. And it's extremely violent, it's extremely uncomfortable, and it's extremely hard to read. For 2/3 of the book, there's one particular thing that happens like towards the beginning that I was like, oh my fuck, okay, we're going in it. However, the last third of the book, it was so unnecessary. More unnecessary than most extreme horror, but definitely in the same vein of like how you know like something went too far and you're like, what are we doing here? That's where I'm at. I was gonna do it for a whole video. I read it for a purpose, and the video ended up getting canned because it put me in such a sour mood. I was like, I can't read more of these, so I'm good. So that's A Girl's Girl. That cover might be small too. It's pretty graphic. I might have to blur some things. We're gonna move on to the next one. So we have The Broposal. The Broposal was something I was also excited about. This is also another fake dating. It's a marriage of convenience is what it ends up being. Essentially, Alejandro is best friends with Kenny, who is in a relationship with a woman who's horrible, and they ended up getting engaged so Han can stay in America, is what this all comes down to. And the first half was enjoyable. It wasn't horrible. It had some really good moments in it. And then the second half was so bad that I could not believe what I was reading. I deeply, deeply felt uncomfortable, and I just could not figure it out. I could not understand. I was like, why are we doing this? Why is this the route this book went down? I can't understand why this is what someone would choose. But this is what the route this should go down. I was so utterly shocked. This also has one of my least favorite tropes of all time in it. 2 even better. Not just 1, but 2. I landed on 2.5 because the second half is just god awful, in my opinion. The next one I just read, I do have a video talking about it. I'll link it in the cards. Another 2.5 in here, and that is Powerless by Warren Roberts. Yeah, you'd be shocked if I wasn't talking about Powerless in this video. Did I talk about a single Red Queen in this ramble? No. Maybe I should have. Maybe Red Queen should have been in here. I don't know. I read Powerless because I read Red Queen earlier this year, and I was curious to see if the rumors around the lab were true. And I would say that they are. They are very true. And also, it's not as intriguing either. This follows a girl as she's a peasant in this world full of riches, and she ends up getting brought into a tournament of sorts, and she's placed between two princes for their love. And you know it, you read it, you see it. Yes, I did not like this book. I didn't like this book at all. I cannot believe the writing. I cannot believe the amount of people that like this book. I was so underwhelmed. There's certain aspects where I feel like maybe the powers could be kind of cool, for sure. How everybody's like, oh my god, the ending. And I couldn't tell you what the ending was. That's how much I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it. I would not recommend it. And it is my second worst favorite book of the year. And I had a feeling it was going to be on this list. I didn't realize how high, but I did have a feeling it was going to be high. Then lastly, my worst book of the year, by far the most uncomfortable I've been all year reading a book and stuff, was a graphic novel. It is called Consensual Violence. It is about a woman who ends up being assaulted and getting her revenge. But you might be like, oh, Jacob, that doesn't sound bad at all. That sounds like it could be interesting. It's not. It's really, really, really fucking not. Also, the thing here is that, one, I'm pretty sure it was written entirely by men. Sure is. And I'm not saying oh, men can't write, whatever. Now I'm actually, you know what, I kind of am saying men can't write, whatever, because of the simple fact that this was so out of disgustingness that I was shocked. I was shocked about how far they went. I was shocked what they deemed necessary, which I feel like in exploitation, which is what this would be counted as in my opinion. Even extreme horror, I don't even sometimes count as exploitation, because exploitation is something different. But this I would count in that regard. And sometimes it's necessary, and sometimes you're like, yeah, this is needed. It was not needed. It was not needed. The majority of this book was not needed. That's all I got. So I gave it was a 1.5 stars. There's a character in it that I really liked the design of, and I enjoyed the dialogue that was given. But that's it. Being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, comment down below. I'll subscribe next time, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.